right, Gerald. There are some kids on the bus, and they were talking about what was the most important thing in the world. And I really, really want to know what it really is. Can you help me, Gerald? Julia.
Julia, that is a great question about foundation. Do you have any thoughts about foundation, especially as it relates to your planet?
Yes, foundations are very important. On our planet, you have to build houses in the clouds because the land is so hot. You have to make sure to focus on a really good balloon foundation.
I'm sure that is super important. So you need a lot of balloons for that, right?
Sure, depends on the size of the house.
I'm sure. So do you blow up all the balloons yourself when you do that, or no?
Usually I use a pump. What would you do?
Okay. I'd be out of breath. I try to do it by that. You're just so wise, Gerald, and so much wiser than I am, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you like that building up your ego, I'm sure, Gerald. So, all right. Well, the most important part of a house is its foundation, just as Gerald had explained on his planet. And we need to have the right foundation, not just for our houses, but we need to make sure that we have the right foundation for our lives. Jesus talked about the foundations that people build their lives upon in the Sermon on the Mount. And we've been studying for a while the Sermon on the Mount, for actually several months, Sermon on the Mount, right? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
And we're actually just coming to a close on that. And that's a sermon that was actually on a hill, a big hill, where Jesus preached the longest sermon that we have from Jesus. And that is, we're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 29 today in the Sermon on the Mount. And I want to ask you guys, as I ask you as always, and you might feel like, oh, it doesn't really matter, but read this with your mom and dad in a time of family worship, because that is way more important than these Gerald videos, having family worship with your mom and dad. Do you agree with that, Gerald?
Yes, I do.
And in that passage, Jesus tells people to build their houses on a rock. So, any thoughts on that passage, though, Gerald?
Well, as Christians, Jesus is our rock. We are to build our lives on the foundation of Him.
Absolutely right. So, yeah. So in your case, your translation to your planet might say Jesus is our balloons, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like yeah. But when Jesus is the foundation, it means every part of our life is shaped by Jesus. Just like in the foundation of the house, the whole house is built around that foundation of the house. So every part of our life is built on serving Jesus, making much of Jesus, loving Jesus, telling others about Jesus when Jesus is our foundation. Jesus that should change how you act at school. He should change how you respond to foods you don't like, kids, sometimes. And he even changes your feelings and your thoughts. He changes every bit of us if he's our foundation, doesn't he, Gerald?
He does. A life with Jesus as our foundation gives us a solid foundation. But it's really awesome.
Absolutely, it's awesome. So sometimes we make other things our foundation in our life. Like sometimes we might make sports our foundations, the most important thing. We might make our friends the foundation. We might care more about having the best friends and having a good time with friends than serving Jesus sometimes. And when that happens, other things than Jesus become our foundations. But Jesus warns one day storms will come. People don't know for sure. Some people think this means suffering will come. Some people think this means judgment from God will come. But on that day, only Jesus, the foundation, lasts. When life gets hard, and maybe when God punishes some people, that by sending some people to hell, sadly, only those who trusted in Jesus will last forever in the kingdom, right?
That's true.
So, Gerald, any more thoughts on Jesus as our foundation?
Well, if we make Jesus the foundation of our lives, we may still get scared or worried at times, but with Him as our foundation, we know He'll be with us through all those circumstances.
Man, that is so important. Such a great truth to tell the kids. Yeah, Jesus is with us if He's our foundation. Yeah. So I hope you guys have learned a lot from this Sermon on the Mount study. We're going to be having this right around the time you guys are going to take some break in school for winter break. And I want to encourage you guys to read not just this part of Matthew, but read the whole Gospel of Matthew, maybe with your family during your Christmas break this year. Well, do we have a Bible verse this week?
Today's memory verse, it comes from Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. Therefore, as you received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, just as you were taught, and abounding in thanksgiving.
Okay, that's wonderful. It's very appropriate with this coming up around Thanksgiving time too for some of the kids. So I would love actually to build a house like you have on your planet. So Joe, can you help me go build the house and the clouds?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's go take off and do it. So see you, kids.